So I got really lucky 2 times in a row. First of all, when I do these videos, I just kind of go raiding, and the first raid I find that I haven't done a guide on so far, I'll just make a guide on, right? That's how I do things. Now, I couldn't test Drain Punchers because, you know, this is a ghost. So I kind of struggled to find Pokemon that were good against this, but it just so happens that Empoleon, the Pokemon we just raided, is pretty good. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna do one more Iron Defense, because by far the biggest threat is Crunch. So if this is a Dark type, we're looking at 62.7% from a crit, and that's at neutral, okay? Now this thing is going to be using Crunch on you. Now, instead of using a Covert Cloak, I just went ahead and put Iron Defense on to cover for those defense drops, right? And then I put a Shell Bell on, so whenever I do get a defense drop, I get a competitive boost. Now, this is actually my second time shooting this on, and the reason is the first time I did it, I got hit with a defense drop 4 times in a row, so I was at +6 in 3 turns. That's how we started the raid. Are we at 80% yet? Shit, I don't even know. Let me surf one more time just to make sure. 80% time, 90% HP is what we want. I think I missed a cleanse. I'm over here talking too much. Okay, there's a clean. I'm pretty sure we're good to go. It looks like 90 and 80, right? 90% HP, 80% time. That's what we're going for. There we go. All right. So I didn't miss a clean. Yeah, I got hit with defense drops 4 times in a row, which was kind of crazy. So now the priority is to get our Metal Sounds. This is the primary source of damage boosting that we are using here. All right. So our priority is getting it to drop as many special defense stages as possible before that shield comes up at, I think it's like 60% HP when the shield comes up, maybe 50, something like that. There's plenty of time in between its cleanses and the shield. But you got to keep in mind when you start using these Metal Sounds, if you have special attackers like this Drifblim over here, it'll start doing big damage. Even these NPCs can do big damage when you start dropping the raid Pokemon stats. So -6 it is, right? Yeah, that's -6 on special defense. It was my first time with this webcam in this perfect position, so you can see that what the allies are doing, you can still see the HP bar. I think it's about right. I used to have it in the top right corner, but I feel like when I do the voiceover, I'm going to put my voiceover box in the top right corner and you'll know there's a difference. No, I'm just going to do this until I can I can terrestrialize. And that's it. I already Iron Defensed. I haven't got any defense drops, so we have room for 2 defense drops. Right? If you're at all concerned, you can just pause the turbo and take a look. It's at -6, so we should do more than enough damage to stay ahead of the timer. Delicious. And at this point, I can just let the turbo button do the work while I go over some numbers. Now, again, we're looking at a maximum damage from Crunch. This is a Dark Tera. For a Dark Tera Alolan Muk with a critical hit and a Brave Nature, we're looking at 68.6% damage. That is the most that it can do to us. So we do need to keep an eye out for crits, even though we got that Iron Defense. Keep an eye on our health. How is our health? Our health is good. Is it? And it's using Hex. Now Hex has a maximum damage of 15.5% if it's not a Ghost Tera, but this is a Ghost Tera, so we're looking at maximum of 23.3. So we are in defense, and what happens is it decides it's going to use Hex because with the defense boosts, Hex does more damage than Crunch does. And it does not consider critical hits. So if you want to change the move that the Pokemon is using on you, that's the best way to do it, right? Muk has both special and physical attacks. It hits hardest with physical attacks, but since my defense is so high, it is going to go with the special ones because they're doing the most damage, and it does not consider crits, in case you didn't know that. So you can very easily choose which moves you want to bait. So for example, there are a lot of Pokemon that have the move Close Combat. Baiting Close Combat is really good because you get the raid Pokemon to debuff its own stats for you. When I do a guide on Cleaver, it's going to be hilariously easy because of that. I'm just going to simply use a Pokemon that baits Close Combat and it's over. I've already done some testing, but that's going to be an interesting one. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, that was easy, and I spent a solid about half the raid on Turbo. Empoleon's great for this raid. So put that penguin to use. Yeah, I had to see if Annihilape works here. It takes super effective damage from Hex, which does get up to 130 base power with, with poisoning, and I am going to get poisoned in this raid without a doubt. But Rage Fist be hitting hard as hell, and if I'm going to test this thing for, whether it can take damage, I might as well test it here. Okay, the fact that it's weak to Hex is a good thing. It means it's not hitting us with Gunk Shot or Flamethrower. Okay, that's what it means. You know what that means is we're not going to get poisoned or burned, which Hex stays at 65 base power, which means it's not doing shit. Okay, this is a perfect example of just because you're weak to one of its moves does not mean it's not a good idea. This is a perfect example, okay? I'm gonna pop it real quick with the Rage Fist. I gotta get it under 90%, and if it hits me too many times, then I'm just gonna get it straight to its shield, which we don't want. I'm gonna go ahead and pop it real quick. Hopefully we don't do too much damage. We're already at 150 base power. Obviously, if you're up against a normal or a dark type, we're just using Drain Punch instead of Rage Fist. It's that simple. So it should do 2 cleanses now because we're at about 80% time as well. Remember, the landmarks here are 90% HP and 80% time. Hex is doing nothing because it's not going to poison us. If it does, we'll heal cheer. That'll keep Hex at a lower base power of 65. And given that Muk's special attack stat is funny, is so low that it's funny that we don't really have to worry about it. It is just barely doing more damage than all the other moves, which is perfect, because Hex doesn't actually have any secondary effects other than doubling when you're burned. But since it's super effective and it does the most damage, that's what it's going to be using, so it's not going to poison or burn you. You have a 25% chance of being poisoned when it uses Toxic on a random opponent at 50% HP. We're still good. We're still safe from a crit. So if we're not getting poisoned, and we're not healthy, then we're looking at maximum damage of 41%. So now we're under that. Now we got a defense. Oh, it crunched us? Well, that's our defense drop. That's fine. That's those, well, we have to anyway. We just got to stay above 41%. Yeah, Annihilape's the best for this. Annihilape, the king of KOs. Goodness. Alright, Bellibolt is about as good as Annihilape. It actually takes more damage from a crit, even though Annihilape's weak to Hex. So, if you're gonna argue anything is volatile in this matchup, it's not Annihilape, it's Bellibolt, and that would be a bold statement. So very simple. I'm gonna Parabolic Charge until it gets to 90% HP, and in that time I'll just stay healed up. Oh, got intimidated. That's good. So if it's Brave, then we are looking at a normal damage of 48.8%. And we're looking at maximum damage of 72.9, which is a lot. But since Bellibolt is so good at healing itself, not too worried about that. So once we get down to 90% HP, I'm just going to stop moving. Okay. So there's one clean. I'm just going to stop moving and we're at full health. So just stop and let the other cleanse come. Because then we get to go ahead and drop its stats without worrying about any more cleanses, right? We're just chilling. Because we're below 90% HP. We just need to get below 80% time now. Now, the reason I'm not doing anything is because I don't want to get closer to that shield. I could Parabolic Charge until then, but I don't want to get closer to that shield. So I'm not going to Terrasilize yet. I'm just going to focus on getting its special defense down. Now, if I get below 75% HP, I'm going to Parabolic Charge. Okay, it's pretty close. You know what? Actually, I can easily feint and still win, so I'm just gonna get it to -6. You can feint here, and it's completely fine. You'll have plenty of time to finish the raid. Just don't Terrasilize and feint, okay? Get the boosts, right? And then Terrasilize when you know you're gonna be alright. In fact, I'm gonna Acid Spray just to invite fainting. Now we're good. Next time we get a chance, we can Terrasilize and Parabolic Charge, but I'm going to play it safe and Parabolic Charge, then Terrasilize. Okay. One Parabolic Charge, I might die here. Oh wait, I outspeed. How much do I outspeed this thing by? 109, 126. What if it's plus speed? Okay, it might outspeed you. If it does, it's plus speed. Now I'm at full health. It's at, oh wait, no, I only used 2, right? No, I used 3. Yeah, and it's not going to clean itself again, so I'm going to go ahead and Terrasilize. Bam. And then just, and that's it. Parabolic Charge is in the first move slot, so I'm done. I'm done. Right? No hands. Turbo. Spare fingers. Why is it hitting me with hacks? I'm not even poisoned or burned. Is that an additional move? No, it's just stupid. These Pokemon will usually just hit you with the move that does the most damage. It's usually very easy to predict what move they're going to be spamming on you. In this case, it's Gunk Shot. Am I poison? Is that me? Nope. But it's going to take too long for the toxic damage to ramp up enough to be a problem. It would have to do the 27.9%. Yeah, 27.1%. And it won't. With just the poison. And it would have to happen at the same time as a crit. How is it so close on the timer? It's not. It's about to be over. I'm actually surprised how close it is. But yeah, this is anytime there's a early self cleanse where you can just kind of bide your time through it. Bellibolt's so good. So you can get those acid sprays and then you can just Parabolic Charge until it's over. And that's what he does here. That's what he does so well. How am I doing so little damage? Damage is funky right when the shield breaks, man. Yeah, I don't know how that did so little damage. Arcanine made this look very easy. Most of the time we'd be taking much bigger damage, obviously, because we won't have an Intimidate. But we'll be healing through it. We'd faint, but then we'd come back, Terrasilize, and just start spamming Parabolic Charge, you know? If this was helpful, smash that like button and subscribe. If it wasn't, then tell me why in the comments. Peace.